There we go. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Some places are already celebrating, right?
Australia.
Last Paul's Chain Time stream of 2025. Good riddance, 2025.
Indeed. Yeah. 2026 will be much better. Not financial advice.
Yes.
That's our fifth year in a row saying that.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing too.
The bar is low, in my opinion. It's a low bar.
Yeah, the bar is low, right?
Sack price.
Yes,
Dude.
that is true.
Sack price would look sweet right now, right? Which is kind of funny that it's like it wouldn't be very hard to get sack price in crypto terms, in dollar terms, and it's like if it happened tomorrow, people would freak out, like, "Oh my god, I'm at break even. This is so huge," right? And then a lot of them would sell, but it would be exciting.
Yeah, a lot of
by the way, this is my new artwork. I don't know if you guys
noticing that. What is it?
That is a print thing that Brian Magruder made, and I have a couple of different sizes that he sent me. He sent me some art.
Oh, I thought he just did hats. Okay, that's
no,
cool.
He does other stuff. Yeah, so I've got one that's vertical. I've got one that's horizontal, and a bigger one. I'm not sure if I want to put the big one in here yet or not, but I thought that one works, right?
Totally. Yeah, it looks like it's Pulse Chain themed ish at the very least.
It is. And, we've got the infamous WPLS here. We've got some Pulsex here and some inks. It's pretty good stuff.
I see Hex on there. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
cool.
Yep.
Nice.
He needs to make new ones now. I don't think he was anticipating ProveX, right? So he's going to have to go through a whole new print job. Or maybe this one gets more valuable because this is old school before ProveX even existed.
Oh, yeah. That's a collector's item for sure.
100%. I'm going to smoke on this very last stream of the year, this Padron 1926, which is a badass cigar given to me by my loving wife.
Is that a fancy cigar?
It is.
Like $7-8 kind of thing, or
yeah, solid $7-8, quite possibly.
That's my limit.
Oh yeah,
I think
it's going to be resting in this new ashtray she bought me. Look at that.
What's that?
This is my new ashtray. My ashtray. It was my Christmas present. One of them.
That's cool.
Can't be.
I remember a time where people, like, everyone had an ashtray in your house, right? Like, and even if you didn't smoke, you had an ashtray you would bring out for guests, right? So they could smoke in your house.
Since I was a little kid, I hated cigarette smoke.
Yeah. It was just normal, like in the 70s, right? Like I remember being at parties, like as a child, like at somebody's house, and like there was like 10, 20 adults smoking in a house, right? And then the hostess would be changing out the ashtray like mid-party so that people could smoke more. Right? And it's Canada, of course, so it's cold, so you don't want to smoke outside if you don't have to. That's all changed now. It'd be super insanely rude to light up in somebody's house. They would not bring you an ashtray.
It's kind of a pain in the butt, even in some areas of Vegas with cigars, because I feel discriminated against because you can smoke cigarettes all over Vegas. Like I was trying to watch when we were down there for the last thing that we were at down there, you and I fast, right? I tried to go and watch a game, some sporting event. And they would let people smoke cigarettes and watch the big screens and bet, but they wouldn't let you smoke cigars in there.
That's ridiculous. Cigars to me smell good, whereas cigarettes are nasty.
I pled my case. I tried to explain that to them. They did not agree with me. So
made up rule.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a recap of 2025. I went into Twitter and I pulled up some pictures that I feel represented my 2025 which they're all the trips that we've taken. Fast and I started 2025 off with a trip to Panama together. That's what we met for in real life for the first time. It was pretty fun.
Man, this year has been challenging for me. This has been a hard year.
We've just to think about all the stuff that we did RH ecosystem wise, aside from everything else that we've done, right? We've done, I know I did the Panama trip with Randy, came home, did the Pulse Chain tour in Vegas, came home, did the Hex meetup that SJ put together on the beach with go-karts, came home.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you and I met. Yep. And then we did I did 2 different trips down to help out with tablets. And
you were butthurt at me?
Oh, yeah. Very, very disappointed, buddy. You shouldn't even bring that up.
Good job. Sounds juicy.
I'm going to have Slime Whale choke you out.
Yeah. How's Slime Whale doing?
I don't know. I feel like everyone's struggling.
Yeah.
He's probably, I don't know. He has a pregnant wife, so nobody's ever really doing great with a pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Well, some days you could be doing really great, and some days it will be terrible.
Yeah.
That's a roller coaster.
And,
just like Pulse Chain. Some days it feels great when you see that 4% pump, and some days it feels terrible when you're down 25%. You know, it's just there's good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Wanted to say though, guys, like we tend to hyper focus on the thing that we're invested in, of course, right? But there's a thing in crypto and in the stock market where people divest themselves of investments that are down right at the end of the year, so they can count it as a tax write-off, right? So that so people sell their crypto on or before January 31st, and then they can claim that it was a tax write-off, that it was a loss, and to use it as a tax write-off, even if they buy back right on January 1st, right? You can't always do that with stocks and some things because they're considered securities, but if it's not, like with crypto, you can sell your Bitcoin today, you can buy it back tomorrow, and you have a tax write-off if you were at a loss at the time when you sold.
Yeah, that's
Of course,
wash
you'll have a
trading
tax gain
in
next
normal
year.
markets. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
not
in the
allowed
in
stock
normal
market
markets.
you have to wait 30 days to buy back or something.
Yeah, but not in crypto. You could literally buy back on January 1st. So, and not financial advice. I'm not an accountant.
Oh, look at that.
But
Mr.
I think that's
Oh,
part of the
Russ,
reason
did you
we're
sell
down right
everything
now.
today?
Mr. Overalls, look at he's doing some work.
Working
How you
man.
doing, Mr.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sorry to jump right in the middle of it.
You're talking about wash
Yeah.
trading.
Talking about wash trading, huh? Hey, look at we got Fast, we got John. The Woo is in there. Wow, look at you guys. Cool, man. No, I sorry to jump right in the middle of your conversation, but I'm in between works right now. I'm heading over to the Hive. We're working on putting a new studio together over there. Moved it out of my house. We're gonna go all pro. So let me jump into convo with you guys. Where are you at with wash trading?
We were just talking about how people probably our red candles might be due to people taking losses at the end of the year for tax purposes, yeah, and then buying back.
Oh, that's a given, yeah.
Yeah.
So my theory is that I think there's a good chance that crypto sees green candles tomorrow, because on the first, people can buy back the same thing they sold. Now, of course, it does. If everyone knows this isn't secret information, then lots of people are going to be doing it, right? So it's going to be probably you could front run those people and buy today. Today's probably one of the best buying days for crypto that we'll see in the next 2-3 months, in my opinion, which is solely my opinion and not financial advice. But I think the red candles today are there for a reason, and that reason is gone tomorrow. Dates on the
Yeah,
calendar.
I tend to agree with you a little bit, but I know that there's a lot of different elements too. Macro, if you look at it macro economically here, we're also at the end of a brutal bear market, or the end of a short bull market. So there's a lot there to be said about why liquidities are low, why selling is affecting the price so much right now, and driving things down even further. So there's a lot of macroeconomics involved in this too, you know.
Yeah, that's true. If my wife finds out that this is the year of the horse, all of the profits in 2026 would be devoted towards buying additional horses.
Additional horses. Oh dear.
Yeah. Try
RG, so you're saying this could be the end of a bear?
It could be, well, I mean, we've seen the chart. You know, we have our typical 4-year cycle in crypto. This year we didn't have a typical 4-year cycle. There's a lot of, again, external macroeconomic indicators that are showing that, even though the news has come out strong in the case for crypto, we've seen not the rise that we've expected. We saw the big institutional money. All the big institutions now have their Bitcoin positions. But it didn't affect retail like we usually see. You know, we always see some kind of, institutional money, ETFs coming out, ICO, whatever it was in the past, that pumped up the 4-year cycle. Now, usually what followed that was retail investment. And we have not seen that big retail investment buy-in. And again, there's a lot of macroeconomic reasons why that's going on, even though the news, like crypto has been handed the keys to the city. We now have everything that we want. I mean, with the Genius Act passing, which, that's debatable whether or not that's a real good thing for us or not. The Clarity Act, that is now sitting in the Senate and getting ready to be passed, or getting ready to be reworked, is showing all indications that it's going to be even better for, DeFi, those of us who are in this space here. Uh, the rules that the Senate has been putting together that they're going to be putting into this bill as it comes out are even more favorable than what the Congress put out. So there's huge macroeconomic positive outlet for crypto, especially with the institutions getting in, and BlackRock and Fidelity and the Chase, group saying, hey, we're all in on crypto too. We should see a bigger pump, and we didn't. So are we at the end of a bear market? It looked like it, however, this could be the end of the pump too. It could be we could have seen what we're going to see, and retail's not going to be able to move in and move the altcoin space, anytime soon, because usually that's what we see. We see Bitcoin pump, move, then we see the altcoin market move. But there's a different kind of investor coming into the crypto space, and that was the institutions. And the institutions, I don't think, want to take the risk of the altcoin market, and so therefore they've kind of left it alone. So that made everybody leave it alone. So here we are. Are we at the end of a bear, or are we at the end of a bull? That's to be determined still.
Yeah, so Bob Lucas, I'm sure most of you know who Bob Lucas is. He talks about the 16-year cycle, like that 16th year, you go into a much bigger bear market, a longer bear market. And he was talking about that a couple of years ago, like anticipating the after this bull market, the bear market's going to be 2 or 3 years potentially.
We kind of had that.
Yeah, we kind of did have that.
Yeah. And by the way, welcome Darth and Mr. Crispy Man. How you doing? Nice.
Crispy, what are you smoking?
RG, Crispy Man, what's good?
Crispy Man smoking something that looks like a baseball bat.
Holy crap.
There's too many phallic jokes to go with that, man. But
There's not enough.
this is what relatives buy you when they know you're a cigar smoker and they think it's a good idea, right? So this is a 90 gauge Asylum.
A 90 gauge Asylum.
Yeah, it's called April Fools.
Oh,
I can't even put my mouth around it, man.
Let me get a screenshot of that, dude. Wait, do it again. I want to get a screenshot.
Yeah. I might have to take it off screen, man. Violating terms and conditions here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm smoking the 1926 Padron.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I see RG
Have you smoked
here.
any cigars today, Captain? Did you do a cigar while messing with the dogs?
No, I didn't. I forgot. I forgot my mobile cigar carrier. So I was in such a rush this morning. I forgot it. So no, I haven't had a cigar this morning. I do have a new humidor that Santa dropped off on the inside of my chimney, and that's a $1,200 or a $1,200 cigar Afiadano humidor, which is, man, that thing is dialed in, man. It's a real humidor. It's not
that Chinese cigar shop.
What's that?
Is it like that one that we saw in that Chinese cigar shop? Like the standard one?
It's kind of, it's a standard. It's like that one, but it's the one that they have over at Zarka's Cigar Lounge. The one when you walk into the front door and you see it on display. It's that one.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a real humidor. A lot of these humidors are just basically wine coolers that have been turned into humidors, and they're good. But this one's a real, keeps the humidity. The water doesn't evaporate out of it. It has like 5 different fans in it and a heat sensor, and it's badass.
Nice, dude.
Did you run out of fuel in your lighter lighting that thing, Crispy?
No, man, but it takes a lot of power to get it.
You need to run to Harbor Freight and go get you a propane torch to light that sucker up.
Yeah, you need some BTUs, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I got my little.
He's only lit like the bottom quarter, like the bottom ring of it. It's the most ridiculous thing.
Well, I figure this will compensate for green candles, right?
Yeah, there you go.
For a lot of stuff.
This is ridiculous. Isn't it? Forever. I'll be smoking this for 8 hours.
The best thing for cigars like that I found, right? And I've told this story couple other times maybe. Is I got that I think is made by Drew Estate. It's called the Egg, and it looks like a freaking snake that swallowed an egg, right? And I took that to a poker game once, and it annoyed the shit out of people at the table to the point where they're concentrating on my cigar and not their cards, right? I had people that were willing to tip me coins to put it out, but I did not.
So, I got a little bit of alpha for you guys.
Oh.
So this is not a shilling space, I will tell you that, but there's a project that I've been working on for quite some time, and there was a big pivot, and it is pretty much complete. The website is live, but under lock until the audits are complete. There's a test net with 8 special people that are reviewing it, and it was probably gonna be our 3rd audit, but getting as much feedback as possible. And we're going to peek behind the scene right here. Y'all going to see it first and nobody else until it's 100%. Cool? You guys cool with that?
Fine, buddy. Yeah, 100%. We like alpha.
Let's try to share the screen here real quick.
Does it have something to do with the
Some
name
people
on
like
your
betas.
screen? The
Yes.
DTGC? And that
Yes,
stands
DT
for
Gold
Don't Tell
Coin.
Grandma. What does that stand for?
DT Gold Coin. Dump Tires Gold Coin. And it's
Oh.
a pulse. Yeah, it's a pump.tires staking mechanism, decentralized. We'll just let you look at it. We'll just go from there. Cool.
All right. All right.
What does it do? You said staking. I need more information now.
You'll be able to see the information. White paper, gold paper, and a gold paper quant is completed. So you will get good information here. Yeah.
Nice.
So give me a
Thanks
second.
for the alpha, sir.
So you're
Make sure you
driving
do the
RG3 to the hive right now?
Cancel. Let me do this one.
And he's gone.
Just bugged out.
Woohoo.
Tires. Okay.
Hey, speaking of Woo, Josh, I don't think I've ever spoken to you before. Nice to meet you.
I was literally just writing you. Yeah, I've been planning on meeting you. I was thinking 2026, but we barely made it before next year. So it's nice to meet you, dude. I've always appreciated your positivity and consistency and everything. And now I'm just enjoying watching you with that thing. It's so funny.
Maybe I need an OnlyFans for this. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we need to censor what's going on out there.
So let me ask you, can you guys see it?
Yeah, it's up on screen. I think we lost RG.
Okay, that's fine. Now there we go. All right. This is the DTGC staking mechanism. Right?
Whoa.
Yes. You have your live feed of DTGC and your mom, the burnt value of your mom, the 91% of project supply stabilizing the chart. You will see this, most of this, not all of it, go to the treasury instead of being burnt. You will also see the current wallets that are holding this and the top wallets at all times as you're deciding to stake or not, the current market cap and the float of minimal supply. You'll have these tiers: silver, 24% APR, 26%, 60%. And then diamond and diamond plus, which are the best, in my opinion, and according to the quant analytics, which you will see. Now, I may go over to the testnet so you can go through this, but obviously we can go through our deck screen right here. Let me jump to the white paper first. Now, quant is for a risk manager, risk analytics. My brother is a banking regulator for the FDIC. And let me get out of that screen real quick so you don't hear that. Banking regulator for the FDIC. And so he used to shut down banks if their liquidity wasn't correct. He also was a global risk analyst for Citibank. So this document that had to be done properly, the gold paper quant, is what gives him the ability to see the profitability, the length of life of the DAO based on certain metrics, etc. So now, through his guidance, since this is staking, we don't want to keep it that simple. Transparency is key to me. And here, you'll have your optimal allocation strategy. So in other words, different ways of staking during different market times, PLS going down, etc. That is called dynamic hedging analysis and a dynamic allocation strategy. So in other words, you can mix and match it a certain way to make sure you're in the black. Now, we are not a tax token, but this is a tax staking mechanism. This is basically forecast on a 10,000 investment currently so far. So this is what he wanted as a quant, which I'm so glad that we took the time to put that in here. Now, so let's see if we're going to get back out of that to the white paper.
When you say tax staking mechanism, that means there's a fee when you stake?
A fee when you stake and a fee when you exit.
Okay. What is the fee?
So the fee was, let me get out of this real quick. We get staking. So the fee was actually 5% in, 5% out, but the quant and the analysis of risk didn't find that to be beneficial for all of the stakers in different tiers and the survivability of the DAO. And now the way the math works is it's 1.5% entry, 1.5% exit.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah, a lot sweeter than I was a little excited about 5.5, but if the math doesn't work, and if high level banking just
And where does the 1.5% go?
So let's go over here to the testing phase. Let's say hypothetically we're going to do a gold test. Let's get some. Should be able to get some fake money up there, but if I have any in the wallet, let's see. Click that. Oh, connect wallet. So 50 million DGTZ. Let's say I want to stake all of that. Your entry tax is 1.5. Your exit tax is 1.5. Your emergency in stake is 12%. 0.75% to the DAO, 0.25% to the dev, 0.25% to a DTGC your mom LP, and a DTGC PLS LP, and 0.1% burn. Those two LPs are your Diamond Plus. You'll be able to stake LP of 2 tokens or DTGC and PLS LP. Those are kind of like the Hyper 2x, 1.5x boost. I'm not a big fan of being locked in for long periods of time. This is all about flexibility for people like us at the bottom when we want to actually just win and be flexible and win. So they're 90-day stakes. The whale stake is 180 days, 90 days, and 60 days. I have it set to where after that stake ends, you're still accruing fees plus kickers just for holding and staying in, but you get out whenever you want. Pay 1.5% on the way out. The people's stake is what I like to call it. So let's say we make the stake. Confirmation. Great. Let's go here. All right.
Can you guys hear any funny noises coming from my mic?
No.
All right, good.
Not
The gardeners are here, and I'm just
Okay.
making sure that you guys can't hear the leaf blower in the front yard.
No, you're good.
All right, good.
So is this a fork of something, Darth, or is it a unique creation?
This is a creation. When you have the luxury of working with probably one of the best web developers in Pulse Chain, undisclosed NDA, that's all I can say. Takes a long time to get what you want. Had to go sideways on it too with the whole dump.tire sniper factor, but it's here finally, and the amount of testing that I have to do just to make this official, and go from there.
Well,
So
good
more
luck,
or less.
buddy. Looks awesome.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yeah,
Early
nice clean
unstaked.
lines. The site's smooth.
I like people building stuff on Pulse Chain.
Yeah, one of the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before we lose RG3.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. I want to be respectful of that. I haven't seen him in a while.
I want to get RG3's highlights of 2025.
Highlights.
Or low lights. Low lights are fine.
That's going to be tough. I had some good cigars. Other than that, everything else has really, really sucked. Now, it's been a great time to build, working with the foundation and getting the devices out and, hit and miss with things that work, didn't work, are working, are in the mix. We've got another container coming in of devices in about a week. And so those will be here again. We've got 1 million units on the ground. We're ramping up. Everything's, moving and shaking to get these devices out and get them in people's hands. So we do have a Shopify store now. I think it's a Shopify store. Yeah. Maybe it's not Shopify. It's
Something like that.
something like that.
It looks
We do have a
pretty
store
good,
now
though. That's the job.
where we're putting those out, and people can actually purchase them. And we're putting a program together too about how to get these devices out, get them in people's hands, and maybe set up some kind of a little home meeting or something to show people about crypto. But anyway, so the foundation is still hitting the ground running. 2026 is we're planning on ramping up harder. As far as social media and podcasting and all that, I've changed up a little bit too. I've moved out of my home studio and built an off-site studio, so we're going to be able to have more conference style podcasts where guests will be able to come in. So people coming here to volunteer at the Hive will be able to podcast with me on Discourse Syndicate in a conference style with everybody together. Have some better production quality, that kind of stuff. But I think what's most exciting, about this year, if you look at today, and I think Johnny Chaos and I were talking about this, and if you look at the prices today, you could pick up 1 million EHEX for like $750. And at one point, at its all-time high, that was worth close to $500,000.
Holy crap.
Think about that. It's sitting there at $750 for 1 million, and people aren't buying it. It's going to be, I think, the untold story of the next bull run is what you could have got it for at the end of 2025. And that's got me excited, just thinking about the prices that people are going to be able to get in right now and where we'll end up, being in the future. So take a look at that, everybody. That's kind of like, hold on a second. I'm going to cause an accident here. That's the highlights for me. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep moving. Crypto's not going anywhere. It's going to keep moving, and things are going to get better. Now, they might get worse before they get better, but they're definitely going to get better. So crypto's not going to be pushed aside, moved away, or ignored. People are going to be moving to it. And I think that if you look more into how the U.S. is leaning into it and how treasuries and all those things are getting involved, and that's a deeper conversation. But crypto ain't going nowhere. It's here to stay, and it could be one of the biggest growth factors in all of 2026, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at. Happy New Year, everybody. I got to go in and pick up tacos for everybody that's at the Hive and get everybody back to work. But thanks for having me on, guys. I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, one of my highlights was having cigars with you watching fights, buddy. In Vegas. That was awesome.
Yeah, we had good times. Cigars and fights in Vegas, man. It doesn't get any better than that, right?
Can't beat that, buddy. Have a happy New Year. Tell everybody at the Hive we said hi.
Love you, dude.
Thank you. What you do, RG. Thank you, brother.
Woohoo, RG.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to your pitch there, Darth, you can.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It was so good to see RG there. Forgive me for the timing of that. That was quality time to have RG here. I didn't want to interrupt him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I want to go back to it too. It's like you're so excited. I'm so excited about this, and like all the green lights of it being done. What you guys saw, no one's seen yet. So you saw the main net. So it's kind of like, yeah, man. So no more sacrificing half of my supply again. Just fill up the DAO, pair things up appropriately.
Oh, I have been
your life
on the comments. Pesky Chaos, you're awesome. Welcome. Happy New Year. Will, stay off of high towers in this weather, sir. It's pretty sketchy out there. Blessings to all warriors. Nice. Who else do we got? Happy New Year's, everybody. MVS Corp. Nice to see you guys in here. Mr. Hilarski, there is a freaking invite in your Telegram messages if you want to hop on. I invited you to this last night, but I know you never read. I should have pinged you in the chat. But Happy New Year, buddy. Bright Light, you're awesome, bud. Who else do we got? Mr. Cryptomatic. How are you, buddy? Are you going to be spinning records this evening for some New Year party? You might already be doing that.
You might be doing that right now.
You guys,
You guys.
So what else do we have to review?
Let's see.
2025 in review. How about you, Crispy? What do you want to bring up as highlights or lowlights of 2025?
Gonna put myself on the mute. I got to think about it. I think the biggest highlight that I think of is the transition from the first 5 years of Hex to the second 5 was probably the biggest. And what I keep referring to as a 15-year cycle for Hex. So, but and I think that that probably came. Maybe some people feel like it came a little bit late. That transition, because essentially all the believers who were believing in Hex for that first part of the cycle, we got to the point where even with being able to earn 22% APR rising in Hex terms, people were not taking it, weren't interested, right? And so if they're not interested at 22%, then the game changed, right? And maybe they're not interested at 4.5% either. But it changes the tokenomics long term, right? Quite a bit. And so I think we're kind of ushering in a new age. It's always been a very long play of the idea of Hex. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't. When I talk to people, it's like I would say it's greater than 90%. People are like, "What are you talking about? Why are you even talking about staking Hex?" Which means it's a totally contrary type of situation now. And so it comes with that risk reward, emphasizing risk and reward, right? Because nobody knows what's going to happen. But man, you look at it now and it's like, really? I mean, you go out, you look 15 years out, and essentially there are no users that have staked. I mean, there's some, right? There's about 100 to 200 people, and with 2,000 or 3,000 t-shirts. But anyways, this whole evolution is probably the highlight. I don't know, highlights normally you're like, highlight is a great thing happen, so maybe it is a great thing that happened. But
my highlights were more community oriented, right? Instead of crypto oriented this year. But hanging out with you in Vegas, getting to meet you, and freaking hang out with you and smoke cigars while watching a fight, hanging out with RG3. Having cigar buddies at different events is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Miss Sandy Beach, she's on every stream. Good to see you. You're awesome. Happy New Year. Jorn, it was great hanging out. I'm in a chat with Jorn. He's part of the Midgard team. It was great getting to know him a little more. He's an awesome dude. And Max, I went to Max's house and hung out with Max for quite a while. Got some food with him, did some fun stuff. Max is a great guy. His whole family's awesome.
I want to rewind to Jorn. Is it Jorn or is it Yorn?
I was just thinking that too.
It's probably
Yorn. Were wise.
But here's the thing. I'm from America and I say it the way I want.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Yeah, I thought this was America. I'm sorry, everybody.
That was the smoothest delivery. I will say, Triplet, that was the smoothest delivery of that line that I've heard in a long time.
Well, I'm from Canada, and we're culturally sensitive to.
We are not.
Wise.
Well, I don't call Jose people Josie or Joe's, so there's that, right? But in California, we have a large population of Jose, so we're kind of used to that. Welcome, Luna. Happy New Year to you. Good to see you.
My boy Godfather made the stream. He said he wasn't going to, and he's in there. Shout out you.
Nice. Did I miss him, buddy? Did I miss his chat?
Yeah, it's all good.
Which one is he?
His name is Godfather in here.
Godfather J6. I think he just did emojis.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Just showing love.
Oh, there he is. Godfather. Nice.
The Godfather.
Welcome, Godfather. He's not from a foreign country, is he?
No.
All right, good.
Does that matter?
Two for you.
Maybe it's from Italy. I don't know.
I'm just being culturally insensitive. We're
Yeah.
that's our jam. Hex contractor, welcome. Happy New Year, buddy. Yeah,
I know. When I went down to California to volunteer, I was a little bit worried that ICE would take me away.
I was worried about that too. He stuck out like a sore thumb.
Uniform so they could fake arrest people.
Fast does not own shorts, you guys. The only
true.
time I've ever seen Fast duel in shorts is when we were diving off a boat in Panama. Then he was wearing shorts.
Yeah. I got a sunburn that day though.
You did
Because I wore shorts, obviously. If I was wearing pants and a shirt, I wouldn't have had a sunburn. But I wore shorts and no shirt, and I got a bad sunburn.
If you had worn pants while you were swimming, that would be weird.
We got nailed by a little tiny jellyfish.
Yeah, totally. That would have been another good reason to have pants on.
I think that might have trapped the jellyfish in there.
If you got them in there, I think if you had jeans on that were like tight to your skin, it would have protected you from the jellyfish. They weren't that bad, but it was like, yeah, clearly like.
Yes, I have a friend who he's Irish and he has very fair skin, and he, no joke, wears gloves, a turtleneck, a sun hat, and like weird pants to go swimming. And it's like,
Is he albino?
Dude, just stay at home.
Yeah.
He wants to live his best life. He's just trying to live his best life.
I wish I had a picture of that.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous. Oh man! Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Yeah. What cigar are you smoking, Mr. Darth?
Another Cohiba 2016.
Wow.
Took the little thing off. I don't think it's it's not a Cohiba Mexique. It's 1966 to 50th. It's a Cuban cigar. I mean, let's leave it at that.
Just so everybody on that's watching this knows, there was no pulse or a hex sold in the buying of these cigars. I know that people, they're living it up. Yeah, no hex was harmed in the smoking of these cigars.
I mean, it's been so long since I smoked cigars, and after starting these streams and seeing you guys, my humidor has been untouched for maybe 2 years.
That's ridiculous.
So I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Well,
Nice season.
The only time I smoke cigars is with Triplet or RG.
I just placed an order that you will be proud of, Crispy Man. I placed an order through Cigar Bid, and Cigar Bid, you're basically getting enough cigars to where if you buy 5 cigars, if you were talking about brick and mortar, like you're only paying for 2 and 3 of them are free. And I just spent $400 with Cigar Bid, so I'm getting a boatload of cigars coming in next Tuesday.
Nice.
That's a lot.
We got a super chat from Frank Wright, or Wank Fright in this case.
Wank Fright.
Happy New Year's from PLS Start. PLSstart.me, a great place to find all your pulse chain links.
Frank is awesome.
Thank you, sir.
He is that thing updated, Frank? Are you guys staying on top of the PLS Start? Because man, that thing is getting massive now.
It's I just used it today actually. I wanted to find pulse chain block explorers and wallet explorers, and like it looks pretty updated. There's a ton of stuff.
He said, "Heck yeah!" So that's an affirmative.
Yep.
I'm putting that in nerd speak for you, Fast, because you are a fan of the Ferengi.
I am.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine all the way, man.
Frank.
It's not my favorite, but it's like I watch it at least once a year in its entirety, which I do with all Star Trek. But yeah, Deep Space Nine's down. I'm down with it. I'm down with Ferengis.
Have you watched the new Star Trek that's on one of the paid channels?
I've watched every Star Trek ever, including the cartoon series, man. So yeah, no. Strange New Worlds is the newest one that I'm aware of, which is kind of weird because it's doing the captain is from like the pilot episode of the original Star Trek. It's is the guy who's it's not the same person, obviously, but it's that's the character. It's good. It's okay. It's a little over culturally sensitive. They've done that with a lot of the recent Star Treks. They have a lot of I don't know. They have just a lot of weird things with gender and stuff like that that aren't really necessary. But it's still good. I like it. I prefer the other one that came before that. What's it called again? Almost new Star Trek.
So there's Deep Space Nine, the original. There's the Star Trek one with the bald guy.
Discovery is the one I'm looking for. Star Trek Discovery. I think there's 4 or 5 seasons of Star Trek. 5 seasons of Star Trek Discovery, and it's pretty good. It's much more action-packed, high production value. And then shortly before that was Picard, which is totally like just for hardcore Trekkies because there was a lot of nostalgia going on there. They brought back the entire crew of Star Trek Next Gen for 3 seasons for Picard.
That was that's one of the best shows, though, man.
Yeah, Picard was a good one. Yep. But there's nothing like the very first one with Captain Kirk going after green alien women. That's the best. Yeah, you can't beat that.
I watched a review once of who scores the most on Star Trek, like every series compared, and you'd think it was Riker because he's like always after the ladies, but it's Kirk by magnitudes, like by 10x Riker. You just see him putting his boots on and a girl leaving his room, but like it's like every second episode.
He's putting his boots on.
I worked with Jonathan Frakes up in Portland for like a few months because he was the director of a show called The Librarians.
I know that show. Cool.
Oh, dude, terrible show. I can't even watch it.
Jonathan Frakes, that's Riker. You worked with Riker?
Yeah, he's a really cool dude.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet Riker. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Frakesy.
They call him what?
Frakesy.
Frakesy?
Frakesy, like his last name with a Y.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna call him Riker if I meet him for sure.
Yeah,
it'll always be Riker.
That's a cool ass name.
Riker, strong
Riker,
man.
Yeah.
And I'll need him to do that pose where he puts one leg up on a chair and then leans on his knee. Oh,
there you go.
Classic.
That's
that wouldn't be my favorite.
That's almost the Captain Morgan.
Where are you positioned while he's doing this?
Marilyn Monroe, and I can see that scene. I'm pretty sure it'll be fresh.
See, this is believe in yourself. I would date a green alien woman, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to be. You know, it's all about Canadians are all about being culturally sensitive. Send us your green women or any women. You know.
We're you guys, any hue, right? Even pastels.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
It all goes.
Yeah, don't narrow the search down. Just like
and green, honestly, would be easier to find in the snow.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they don't want to find them.
Yeah,
I think they do, buddy.
What if there's a breakup? You'd be like, baby, how am I going to find green again?
There's some inappropriate jokes, but I'm going to save them for after the show.
After the show, yeah.
And you know what?
That's why I love you guys.
That's why I love you guys, because it's good to have just mature, headstrong, smart, community thinking people in the crypto space. I love all young folks, but man, just
Gets a little rough out there, bud.
it gets
Yeah,
rough out
easy
there,
to get in the
guys.
weeds.
Easy to get. Yeah, exactly. Keep it classy, San Diego. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what we've seen a lot in 2025 is people falling apart, right? Like from influencers to just community members, and not just Pulse Chain people, like crypto people in general. Charles from Cardano was falling apart on Twitter the other day.
Oh yeah.
And just for reference, guys, like if you're having a nervous breakdown, Twitter is not the right place to do that.
No.
I think crying in your shower by yourself, that's my preference. But Twitter is the last place where you should have a nervous breakdown. But it's just happened a lot, and it's like it's not. I don't begrudge anybody who's had that issue because it's been like it's human nature. There's been a lot of pain in the markets on Pulse Chain and crypto in general, but like I'm glad to see you guys have kept it together. Kudos.
If you're struggling, watch my pinned post on X. I speaking of that, I have a highlight, and that is the term "cry fag." That was like the funniest couple of weeks, in my opinion. And then the AI song was just such a banger. The cry fag song.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny. I feel like that for me, the cry fag era is now over. We need Richard Hart to make a new word.
Maybe
we can push the dictionary. Sorry, what's that?
Maybe a positive one this time.
Could be, yeah, a positive. What is the positive version of cry fag?
The inverse of that would be
cryfag
would be
I guess
here.
Yeah, I guess cryfag's kind of negative.
Okay.
Like green candle fairy or something like that. I don't know.
Happy goal, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd happily have Richard call me a green candle fairy.
I got a peace out. Family's on his way back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys. Yeah, thanks for showing us. If anybody in here is interested in what Mr. Darth is doing, hit him up in Telegram or on Twitter. You got a sneak peek of it here today, and when it comes time to launch, buddy, come and revisit us. We'll do a whole show on it.
Yep, exactly. Coins out. Don't worry about trying to. We still have people we want to accumulate here, so we're not trying to pump anything up right now. Just check the chart, live your life. It'll be good. You'll be fine. Holler at you. Peace.
Take it easy, buddy. Crypto Cat's a good guy. I met Crypto Cat at Max's house. We hung out together. He's a good dude.
Crypto is great, but community is everything. That's true, dude. That's literally like all of my highlights are meeting all you guys and building community and relationships that are like real. And 2025 was a big year for that. So
yeah,
when it comes to community, things are developing and growing, and attrition is happening. Certain people who maybe were meant to leave have left, and I don't know. Oil and water effect seems to be happening, which is positive if you like where you're at.
Yeah, certainly. Some people who were maybe better off without. Though I think we should have a policy in 2026 of welcome back. Just like Brizology coined the term "Welcome to Pulse Chain, we love you." Like, welcome back to Pulse Chain. Don't be a cry fag. Something like that. We want those people to come back, and they are our most likely customers to come back. Are the ones who have been here before.
That's true.
That's the thing.
Hardest ones are a lot of people. I don't know why. They're just not.
It's easier to keep current customers than go find new ones, right? I think there's something to that.
Also true, but second to keeping new current customers is getting back old customers, right?
Yeah,
and then finding new customers, like prospecting for new customers, is like the least efficient form of advertising, right?
Yeah, you start in the A's in the phone book.
Yep. Pick up the phone, keep calling, which is kind of like stuff like the tablets. Like that's that's aggressively going after new customers. But then it comes down to targeting, like getting it to the right people who could be a customer versus just some old lady who doesn't know what it is.
Very true.
Targeting is key.
What do you have against old ladies?
Well,
Or
they
old-
don't have
or old
crypto
men.
mostly.
Yeah.
Old ladies with crypto are welcome.
Depending on what you consider old, right? There's some female people within our community that are 50 plus that I wouldn't consider old, but they are heavy duty into this crypto thing. Josh might consider them old, but Josh has only seen one cycle.
It's been brutal, dude.
Josh is young.
You're born in the bear, Josh. You're looking easy.
I am that meme. Like, this is Josh. Josh has been in crypto for 7 days. He's just a really old guy.
Oh boy. What else do we got? The biggest meltdown of the year would have to be "Do I Have Your Attention Now?" That had to be the biggest meltdown of 2020.
Who was that one?
BitBoy.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, when he went to jail and stuff with his meltdown.
Yeah. That's not burning even at all, Crispy Man.
No.
He's
Yeah, it's
pulling
burning.
smoke out.
Oh, it's burning. It's burning. I just don't want the whole end to fall off on me.
BitBoy's back on the
No.
horse though. He's doing his thing still.
That's good.
He to an extent, I don't think he's even running his Twitter.
You don't think he's doing it?
No, it's
That could be a good thing though.
link every other
Some
day or
people
every
should not
day.
run their Twitters.
That is true.
Some days I think Richard Hart should have someone else run his Twitter.
The other day, I thought somebody else was running his Twitter when he started coming up with those random things about nurses and stuff. That was a little odd.
Yeah. I almost commented on some of his things, but I decided that there was no win in it for me. But yeah, he's been doing some kind of raunchy comments. They're funny, but it's like it's maybe not. As his image advisor, it's not what I would advise.
No, I would advise against it.
But
what
I sent him the link to the show, so if he can come on and argue that point if he thinks that's the way to go.
Did you send him the link?
Well,
That'd be cool.
I tagged him saying that he could DM me if he wants the link, which I do fairly often, and he's yet to DM me for a link. But one day I think he will.
One day.
How
many times has Corey Costa tried to get him on a show? That it's like a 1 million times.
Yeah, but the last 2 years were a write-off. Like, you literally could not come on anybody's show, in my opinion. I think the legal situation was that. Since he started not streaming, but like posting videos, I feel like the situation is starting to change, though there's likely still a reason that he's not live streaming that could be legal in nature. So maybe he can't. It's totally possible. But like, if that could change real quick, we don't know what's happening. He has crazy lawyers. Hey, there's Cairo.
Hey guys.
Oh,
Happy New Year.
That's the voice we like to hear. The voice of Cairo, the positive freaking positive guy of all Paul Shane. That's awesome.
Tell us about
time here with you
2025.
guys. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time here with you guys before starting my own stream. So what you guys discussing?
Just some highlights, lowlights of 2025. We're doing a recap, what we may expect in 2026. I know is your forte, so I would love to hear that from you. If you have any kind of wisdom that you would like to impart on our 552 people.
Yes, actually. We'll be discussing a little bit of this here on the stream today of like what are my predictions and everything for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
So might as well just like going ahead and get all into that. Like, what exactly do I predict is going to be happening come 2026? I'll give you like the rapid fire drive by for that right here. Okay. I think that the EU either implodes or comes very close to it. And that's going to cause like some serious financial turmoil. I think that the yen is going to get weaker, which means the US dollar will get stronger, which is good for inflation, but is bad for crypto and other assets that are denominated in dollar bills. I think that the inflation target, though, we will undershoot the 2% inflation target for the Fed starting probably January, February of next year, which is good because it makes the case for more interest rate cuts and turning on the money printers. I think that the tariffs are going to get overruled. I don't know if they will be reversed, but that also makes the case for money printers, and a lot of the uncertainty that is holding crypto down, I think, goes away. I think that Lisa Cook is going to be upheld. I mean, she's not going to be fired. They're going to uphold the fact that the president doesn't have the right to fire her. So that's going to be somebody that's probably against the money printer over on the Fed Board of Governors. I do think Kevin Hassett will be made the Federal Reserve Board chairman, but how much power he's going to have still remains to be seen. The first 6 months of next year, in short, will be horrible, or at least sideways for crypto. But I do think improvement comes in the late summer when a lot of this uncertainty about the Fed, a lot of this uncertainty about the tariffs is all gone. And that way, we're going to start seeing more positive things like people got their tax refunds, more money circulating the economy, a lot more money that's going to end up in financial assets, the money printer going off and everything. I think until then, and probably throughout the entire year, it'll be like the most volatile year of your life because we're still fighting that whole 4-year cycle belief. Like a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, I got to get out now because the 4-year cycle says it's all over. Or, oh, I better get in now because the 4-year cycle just got broken. I don't want to miss out. So it's going to be super volatile. And
so
for that reason,
you're not a 4-year cycle believer?
No, I'm a cycle believer, but not a 4-year cycle believer because I don't think time tells markets what to do. And I think that for this reason, if you're going to be in the RH ecosystem, you need to have a non-RH reason to be in the RH ecosystem, which is what we discussed last night in Tam Tam Spaces, that you better have another reason to be here than just, oh, I believe in Richard Hart and I think he's great. Because as we're seeing right now, everything that he's doing a lot. I mean, he's constantly like all over Twitter. He made videos recently. He's spending a lot of money on marketing. It's not helping the price any. We look at like the president of the United States supports crypto, and crypto had a year that sucked, even though the most powerful man in the world supports it and believes in it and has a lot of his wealth tied up into it. Still, it was a horrible year.
Took a lot of retail's money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if the president of the United States doesn't even have that kind of power, why do we think Richard has that kind of power, even for his own chain? Like, nobody has that kind of power. It's all dependent on the money printer. It's all dependent on credit creation. It's all dependent on the surge of liquidity that comes when the debt cycle finally cycles through and all this debt that's out there in the system has to be rolled over and refinanced. So until that happens, we are going to be sideways, possibly down. And I think that the first 3 months of next year are going to be the most painful ones of next year because you'll have some profit takers that will be selling early into the year because it's a new year to take profit and not worry about the taxes. And there'll be a lot of people that are thinking, oh my gosh, 4-year cycle's all over. I got to get out now. And they do it right then. And it'll also be like a very long time before people get like all their taxes done and get money to be able to invest in crypto. So that's how I see 2026 play out.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you're saying there's a chance?
That's what I heard. I heard a lot of positive things, like well, 1 or 2 positive things amongst a dozen or so negative things. And I'm going to focus on the positive.
Well, bear in mind that the negatives can lead to the positives because if the EU implodes or if the whole yen carry trade unwinds, that's where you're going to see the Fed have an emergency meeting like they did in 2020, bring interest rates all the way down to 0 or do some sort of aggressive interest rate cut, and turn on the money printers and do a whole bunch. And when it comes to like the money printers, I'm going to play this on today's stream. I had a conversation in the spaces with Peter Schiff. We went back and forth for a little bit because he believes that money printer is getting turned on and it's going to be aggressively printing. We're not talking about like the little itty bitty printing they're doing right now where it's just a few billion each month. He's saying trillions are going to be printed. And he's not the only one. There was another guy I was listening to on Thoughtful Money today, Lawrence something. I forget what his last name was. And he says, yeah, trillions are coming. Right now, everybody just thinks, well, it's what Lynn Alden calls the constant print instead of the big print. But I think a big print is coming, but they're not going to do it until they have some justification, some kind of excuse they can hide behind, such as turmoil in the EU, which we will probably get because definitely the war is lost over on the Ukraine side, and that's going to have some serious devastating consequences for the EU. I mean, Ursula von der Leyen, I don't know how she escapes with her head if that happens, or if, say, the yen continues to weaken and then the BOJ has to step in and strengthen the yen, well, they're going to be buying it up. And you see, as the yen gets stronger, well, then all of the borrowed yen, all the loans that you have that were borrowed in yen, they become more expensive to pay back. So you see a lot of assets get sold, a lot of American assets as well get sold to pay those things back.
Yen, which is Japan, right? What about Vietnamese dong? What is the future of the dong?
Yeah,
I think that one is it kind of does exactly, or it follows along with what the Chinese yuan does. So it does, I mean, even if it didn't, it's not big enough to be consequential in any way.
It's not very big. The Vietnamese dong is typically not very big. I agree.
Mm-hmm. That's right. What you need, we got to pay attention to like the four biggest currencies out there in circulation, or the four biggest central banks. Because like when we say fiat printing is what causes crypto to go up, that's my thesis. That's Cairo's law that I will trademark and have carved into stone if I'm proven right here in this cycle. If when we pay attention to fiat, there's really only three of those currencies we should pay attention to, and that's the yen, US dollars, and the euro. I don't think we should pay much attention to the yuan because any money printing that China does goes into their industrial economy and goes into real estate, whereas the other three, the money printing and credit creation they do, a big chunk of it goes directly into financial assets.
Or they could just pay off those loans in fake gold bars.
Yeah, could do that.
So,
I mean,
the
not even Peter
yuan
Schiff can
and
know if
the
it's
dong
real or
are not big. Like yuan and dong, we would say we're amongst the smallest. I did a quick internet search. I don't know if I'm off topic here, but it says the Congo is the biggest actually. So I'm going to go heavy into Congolese francs. Because the internet says the Congo is the biggest, and Vietnam, Vietnamese dong is the smallest.
Interesting. The dong is the smallest. It's very emasculating there.
Yeah.
About as maybe that's what Leah Halpern is into, because you see this. Apparently, she thinks that 2025 was this amazing bullish year where so many people got rich. So she's posting all over X trying to like gaslight people into thinking, oh, you missed out and you held on too long and that's why you lost money here. And you're going to see a bunch of that. I think you're going to see a bunch of that, particularly as the year turns around, because what happened was a lot of these influencers, a lot of these streamers predicted that 2025 was going to be a great year. You heard Wendy O constantly saying, oh, we are in a super cycle. We are in a super cycle, which never materialized. Yeah. And so in order to save face and keep themselves from like, having people come after them with the pitchforks, they got to lie now and say, oh, yeah, 2025 was a great year. You were just in the wrong coins. I mean, I can show you the
crystal ball. Like you could be rich. I'm with you on that. But if you did not have a crystal ball, chances are you didn't do very well.
All right. What we've seen in past crypto cycles is that it really doesn't matter what you pick. All right, because we know Hart's law in our ecosystem, but in the larger crypto market, there are similar forces because most of these coins, they all trade on the same order books. and a lot of them are all paired in the same liquidity pools. So just buying one of them pushes up all of them. In fact, we're kind of like seeing the negative side of that, because as people capitulate over on Ethereum and abandon it, well, that's also hurting us over here in Pulse Chain and in the Richard Hart ecosystem, because we're so heavily paired and so heavily dependent on Ethereum. And we're suffering the consequences of that. As you can see, like almost every day, you see at least a 5% decline in every single one of the core coins. And you're like, oh, how in the heck is that possible to be going on every day? I mean, do we ever run out of sellers or anything? And a lot of it's not because of our sellers over in our ecosystem, not always because of us. It's just because of like how heavily dependent we are on Ethereum. And as Ethereum is being capitulated and abandoned by a lot of people because Vitalik refuses to get his act together, that keeps pushing us down. And what else I also would say? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just asking, what's Vitalik's problem?
Vitalik's problem is this here, is that he has too many people in the Ethereum Foundation that don't understand that in order to get people excited and interested and believing in your invention, you got to give them an incentive, which is a universal incentive out there. It's called money. And if you show people that you're going to help them make money, well, then they're happy to come work for you. They're happy to market for you, to develop for you, to do all sorts of things to make your vision incredible. I mean, look at us over here in Pulse Chain. Why do we have 200, 300 YouTubers out there? Why do we have 200, 300 websites dedicated to either Pulse Chain or Hex? Why do we have like such a vibrant, enthusiastic, cult-like community? Is because Richard, we know, believes in winning, and he has a track record of incredible investment returns, and we believe that we're going to be able to repeat those, and that's why so many people are happy to stream for free, happy to develop websites for free, happy to build on Pulse Chain for free with no promise of anything in return. Over on Ethereum, though, do you see Vitalik doing anything like that to encourage people to build on Ethereum? No, you see the exact opposite. What you see is him only paying less than 6 figures to developers when they could make 5 times that amount of money going to AI. And then what they do when that's brought up, when that's brought to their attention at the Ethereum Foundation, they go, oh, well, we don't want the people who are just going to be here for the money. The same HR bullcrap that you probably heard in almost every job interview process, where they always say, well, we didn't want to advertise what this job pays here. We would rather you waste your time right here because we don't want somebody that's here just for the money. But everybody does everything, anything at all, for some kind of personal gain, no matter what. All right? I mean, like even if we took like the most pure interaction of humans, the most purified interaction of all humanity, love, still that is a transaction. It's just the currency that changed, because as human beings, we all have a very limited amount of time. We only live for about 33,000 days. So if I do anything at all, it is going to cost me time. If I'm going to do anything for Vitalik or the Ethereum Foundation, it's going to cost me time. I must be compensated for it, and I must be compensated in a way that motivates me to want to go work for Ethereum more so than work for some new AI firm that's somehow able to rack up all this money, raise all this money on a credit card that just like has no limit, and they're apparently now issuing out 30-year bonds for technology that will be obsolete in 5 years. So, yes, when I look at Ethereum, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And I don't understand why anybody holds it.
They're focusing on a traditional finance right now. Ethereum's trying to get their hands in that.
They're trying. Or I think it's more so that it's more so Tom Lee than anything else. Like, I really don't see much from the Ethereum Foundation that's out there trying to be like, oh, yeah, you should come over here on Ethereum. Like, I see Solana do that. But, I mean, remember that really outrageous thing. I forget what the woman's name was, but there was a woman that was practically in charge of the Ethereum Foundation. And she said the quiet part out loud, like, oh, we're not too concerned about the price of Ethereum here. We're interested in building something awesome or building some great world-changing technology. And Vitalik backed her up and went after everybody that called her out and said, oh, if you're going to be calling her out, you're making my job harder. And I'm like, hey, Vitalik, for all of this piss poor, dragging your heels, refusing to acknowledge something very basic in human nature that people need incentives for every second that you do that, you're making everybody's life harder because you and your pitiful performance so far this year, I think, has been one of the quite possibly the number one or number two contender for why 2025 sucked so bad. I mean, why would anybody invest in any altcoin ever when the number one altcoin at best, on its best day, only added 2% to its previous cycle high? Why would you do it?
Good question.
Yeah. And I think that if they don't get their act together, that is an enormous threat to all of crypto, specifically altcoins. If they don't get their act together, there is a possibility that every single altcoin could be dead forever, because why would you ever invest in an altcoin when the number two one can't even add more than 2% after 5 years?
On that note, we want to say hi to Susie Q. How you doing, Susie Q? Good to see you in here.
Hello, Susie Q.
She's
So
awesome.
that'd be my most bearish take, is like, how bad could it possibly be? Could possibly get to a point here where, like, there's only Bitcoin and there's stable coins, all because Ethereum refused to get their act together. And the one ray of light that we have on that is that we got Tom Lee, and hopefully we get some more Tom Lees that buy up enough of this stuff here and have a hostile takeover. Or if you want to do like the most rip the Band-Aid off in the worst way possible, just do what I say, and that's if you're holding any Ethereum, sell it now, dump it. Let's wreck the chart, and that might get Vitalik's attention if he's down to like 700 on his price tag and Solana passes him. And Solana is now the number two coin, or Binance is now the number two coin.
That would be ridiculous, but it could happen.
It would be a big deal, and I do think he that would be a wake up call for him. He would get off of his butt, and he would get his head out of his butt, and then get right to work and reclaim the number two position. But
I think maybe he just has to break up with his girlfriend, and he'll start working again.
Exactly. His girlfriend or his boyfriend or whatever way he swings nowadays. So that's the worst thing that I think could happen. What's the probability of that? I don't assign it a very high probability. I give it like a 10% probability. The worst thing for us that I think could happen, and I give it a 50% probability, is that we could be adding a 0 behind the decimal of each one of the core coins. I do think that that's possible, as the next 3 months just continue to suck. And then the next 3 months after that, I think, goes sideways. Now, it comes back. It does come back. You see, all this, we give it enough time, all this recency bias and all this negative sentiment goes away. But until then, I think that's the worst it could get for us, is that we add another 0 onto each one of the core coins, which will be an amazing buying opportunity for everybody out there that still has dry powder.
Earlier in the show, Pyro, I was talking about how people were probably doing wash trading on crypto right now to take losses in 2025. Do you think that's reflecting on the price at the moment?
That was a part of why Q4 this year sucked so bad, is because there was a lot of tax loss harvesting. Absolutely. Yeah. Right now is the last time to do it, last day to do it. And if you do it, bear in mind that the wash sale rules don't apply to crypto, so you could buy right back in. I don't advise doing that on any of the pulse chain assets, though, just because the liquidity on the chain is incredibly low. So when you sell, you will get very little money for it. And when you go to buy back in, you will pay higher prices than you sold for. So I don't advise doing it on pulse chain.
But like as far as like prices go, like likely the big guys who were doing that have probably done it already. Like they're not waiting to the last minute of December 31st. So I think in my mind that makes December 31st being possibly one of the best buying days, if you have any dry powder whatsoever, because the big guys have probably already left with intention of possibly buying back as early as 12 hours from now.
Yep. I think that that part is over, but then like as the new year turns over, we will have, instead of tax loss harvesters, we may have tax profit takers. Because there's still a handful of coins that are in profit for this cycle, like XRP, Solana, those Binance, those guys are in profit right now. And a little bit of Bitcoin is in profit as well. So I think that people will take profits at the beginning of next year, and that's going to just cause the overall market to not look so great. But that's all right, because it's just going to last for probably the first 3 months, and then things improve as people get their tax returns back, as a lot of the economic uncertainty starts to wind down and go away.
Hey, Cairo, got a question for you, or your opinion, thoughts on it. So you're talking about Ethereum and getting its act in order, blah, 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 right? And I don't mean that negatively. I just mean, the talk about it. So I've always, I shouldn't say always, over the last 3 or 4 years, I came to this conclusion that money means something, right?
Right.
And Saylor's done, and I mean, we could pick on him for what he's done, but he's done a good job of cornering the market on Bitcoin, right? And changing that cycle and introducing the institutional money. And I always thought, watching what happened with the price of Ethereum and the cost of gas and how everything played out, that there are certain parties looking to replicate Bitcoin as Ethereum, so as a store of value, right?
Right.
And so it kind of sets you up for this potential of having it's already a blue chip, but a blue chip asset, which also allows people to build on it. Because Ethereum is the same code, right, as what we're using on Pulsion, relatively the same anyways. But the idea that I could actually put myself in the place of someone who might go build over there, I might actually be able to build things and do things that I can't do on Bitcoin.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think about that? The idea that it really does have utility, it's just not tapped yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard like the phrase said many times before, like, Bitcoin is digital gold and Ethereum is compute, or it's digital oil. I think that we've always had that arrangement with Ethereum, that it was easier to build on. It was easier to do DeFi stuff with. I mean, like for a while in like late 2023, they tried to make Bitcoin DeFi a thing, and it was just so bad because it takes like an hour to send anything. Yeah, it takes an hour to do anything on Bitcoin. So you would think, well, that makes Ethereum more attractive to institutions. And I know that they're interested because they talk about it nonstop. I mean, it's a pretty big talking point in TradFi as well. And on CNBC, always talking about, well, Ethereum. And they have Tom Lee on a whole bunch. But I think what's given institutions so much hesitation is just how terrible the price chart has been this past year, or this whole cycle. Because as much as like we don't want it to kind of be, I mean, like we all kind of say, I mean, the only person this is true for is Fast Abdul. Nobody's really here for the tech. It's only true of Fast Abdul.
I'm here for the tech.
Most people are here to make money, and however they can. And when we have a chart that's just been sideways for at least the past 2 years, well, then what institution is going to be excited about that? What investor, what retail person is going to be excited about that? And we got to understand the importance of charts, because you're constantly seeing coins rebrand themselves. Why would they do that? I mean, Phantom rebranded to Sonic.
I liked Phantom more.
Yeah. I liked Phantom better just because of like how easily identifiable it was with like its Halloween theme.
Yeah.
But why did they do that? Why did they do that? Well,
I was looking for the hedgehog, man, when they went to Sonic. Where's the hedgehog?
Yeah.
You know?
what it was confusing about that was like the day that they launched was actually the day that Sonic, the third Sonic movie came out. So that probably caused a whole bunch of confusion, which they were probably hoping to like grift off of, perhaps. But like, why did they do that? Well, it's because in I think it was 2023. Yeah, it was 2023. They had a very nasty exploit through a product called multi-chain that really wrecked their chart, really wrecked their TVL. So they understood, well, if they want to be taken seriously and get a lot of institutions involved, they've got to rebrand and start with a whole new chart. Same went for Polygon. They used to be the symbol Matic, and then they switched over to POL, is because they wanted to be taken seriously. They knew they needed a whole new chart, because you can't have the chart that's like, it goes all the way up here and then boom, right down there. Same going with Hex on Pulse Chain. I think that's also part of like what Richard Hart was wanting, a whole new chain and a whole new version of Hex. I mean, like, why not just let people migrate their Ethereum Hex to Pulse Chain? Because, you know, you could easily migrate your Phantom tokens over to Sonic and convert them. Like, why didn't he do that? Well, he wanted to have a whole new one because it would be a whole new chart and not something that would be connected to the old chart, because everybody recognizes that charts, it's part of human nature. It's what we look at, not just here in crypto. I mean, yeah, it's the first thing people look at in crypto when they are looking up a coin. The first thing they look at is a chart. It's not just in crypto. It's in TradFi as well. When you look up a stock, one of the first things you see and the first things that your eyes, as part of human nature, is directed to is the chart. And that chart gives you it unless you're very aware of it, unless you're hyper aware of it, it biases you. It has you start to think a certain way, like, oh, because the chart looks like this is not a good coin. This is not a good investment. So that's how important these charts are. This is why Ethereum is suffering, because they apparently don't think the chart matters.
What is that, Pastor Duel? Why are you doing that? Knuckles?
We're being
That's
punched
my
here.
18 karat gold lion ring with ruby eyes and mouth.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thought you were threatening me for a second.
I think he was.
Maybe.
Yeah. Are you
Thinking I was
threatening
getting punched here. Yep.
me? Very, very true stuff, but it's do you think the traditional finance saying that they will collateralize crypto assets for loans, how do you think that's going to play out?
I think that's a long way away. It's a long way away here because of how volatile that crypto is. There's not going to be too many TradFi people that are going to be cool with that, because you'd be looking at a ton of margin like liquidations and all of that. And just looking at like using margin for stocks, a lot of firms, the majority of firms, are very restrictive of that. Yeah, they don't approve everybody that wants it, unless you go to like some unless you go to some place like Interactive Brokers or Robinhood. But if you go to like any of the big firms, you know, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and everything, they don't approve everybody that seeks to trade.
So we kind of assume that's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Solana, XRP, those type of things, right? I don't think it's going to be everything for sure, but I do think that might create some holders.
Yeah, could. I mean, I imagine them first doing it on stable coins, because stable coins have the regulatory clarity. Oh yeah, here's another prediction for next year. I don't think the Clarity Act gets passed. Don't think that happens, because there's going to be probably another fight for the to avoid a government shutdown. Could possibly even have a government shutdown. And then once we get through all that drama and potential drama heating up in Venezuela, it's a potential we're going to war here with Venezuela. Once we get through that drama too, it's going to be too close to the midterms for them to have a vote on the Clarity Act. Now, don't let not your heart be troubled, because I don't think the Clarity Act was bullish or bearish or had any bearing at all on the performance of crypto.
Our resident Canadian made a funny face at warring with Venezuela.
Why are you guys going to war with Venezuela?
You just
Oil.
you know
Why do
that
we go to war at all? It's oil.
you would like to go to war with somebody, but Canada doesn't have an army.
We do have an army. We have a decent army. It's mostly medics and like rescue helicopters, but we got a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I can tell you exactly why here, because you see what it all boils down to. Like, this is true of just about everything, whether it's all investments, any investment that we're talking about, all of economics, all of politics. It all traces back to one thing: energy. There's a limited supply, or a perception of a limited supply, of hydrocarbons out there, and for governments to be able to distribute those hydrocarbons or regulate those hydrocarbons or make sure that those hydrocarbons are used in the most efficient, beneficial manner, that's where money was made. That's how money was created. That's why it's so tightly regulated. That's why it's such a big deal, because it's all about the expense of energy. And because of the ideas that they're trying to do with AI, that they're trying to do with the economy in general next year. I mean, they want to run the economy very hot, but particularly for AI, all these data centers, which currently the grid cannot support, they're going to need a lot more hydrocarbons than they currently have. Now, how bad is it? Here in the United States, we're pretty fortunate because we only use about maybe 40 exajoules of hydrocarbons each year, but we're able to produce 80 of them, which is great for us right here, because you take a look at the situation over in Europe. They are going through probably about 38 exajoules of hydrocarbons, but they only produce 3. So they rely much on the market for the overall world market of oil, natural gas. Like, natural gas is a bigger thing out there in Europe than anywhere else. And that's why, like, their loss to Russia is going to be so devastating for Europe as well. But
yeah, well, they need that's how they heat their houses in Northern Europe, is with natural gas, and it's all coming out of Russia. We have a lot of natural gas in Canada too, and we use it to heat our houses. That's the main use. It's hard to move. Like, you can liquefy it, but it's really expensive and not very useful. What Canada does have, though, is the most high-grade uranium in the world. So I'm bullish on uranium, on nuclear power.
Yep. But I think, like, a lot of what this Venezuela thing is that Trump realized he didn't have what we call escalation dominance in a couple of areas so far this year in his presidency. Like, with the tariffs that he had to back down on, particularly with China, it was because he realized, well, he just didn't have the cards to force China to do what he wanted them to do. When it came to the Israel-Iran war, technically, like, even though it doesn't look like Iran was the victor, technically they kind of were the victor, because they got more out of the agreement that followed than the United States and our allies. So it was because we just didn't have the escalation dominance to say, you will do this, you will make your unconditional surrender, yada, yada, the things that you say during war. Instead, a peace deal had to be brokered. Same goes for this war here in Ukraine with Russia. We don't have escalation dominance. I mean, we could end the war tomorrow if we wanted to. All we got to do is just stop supplying the Ukraine with intelligence briefings, or stop sharing intelligence briefings, and then immediately the Ukraine loses and becomes a piece of Russian territory. But, of course, that's not how we want things to go. We don't have the escalation dominance to make Putin back down. So they're looking for a victory in some way where they do have escalation dominance, and they find that in South America, that's where they do have all of the upper hand. So, like, there was a tariff announced, I think, on Colombia at first, and then Colombia said, oh, yeah, well, we're going to do a tariff too. And then we escalated. We announced a much bigger tariff, and then Colombia immediately backed down.
Because what's coming out of Colombia, whereas with, like, Canada, for example, it's like like you're buying as much stuff from us almost as we're buying from you, so it's not as useful. I have another theory on the Venezuela thing though. That may not be popular. I think it's about Trump's third term.
You think he's
So,
going to try to
sitting
do a third
president,
term?
well, legally no, unless there's a war on, and then a sitting president can stay during the war, can continue his presidency in a time of crisis, like when there's a war. So a nice little war with Venezuela.
Yeah.
Trump does another 4 years.
We
Could be
did
good for
have
our
that
vibes.
under Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We did have that, but like right when Franklin died, when he died in office, when FDR died, his body wasn't even cold before Congress passed a law saying, hey, the president can only serve 2 terms no matter what. So he'd have to override that amendment to the Constitution in some way. I don't believe that there's an emergency clause in any of the amendments or the Constitution
I don't
itself.
think it wouldn't be a third term. It would just be like would stay in power, is my understanding. So it wouldn't be an official third term. It would just be like, they wouldn't run an election during a war with Venezuela.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, I would never say never in this world here. Some things I would need to I would need to see like resolve to consider that though is like how are these midterms still going to go? Because like these midterms are really going against him right now, and unless he's doing as much as he can to please the voting public, he's going to be a lame duck for his last 2 years at best, or he's going to be going to jail at worst. Because you see, when the Democrats come back in, they will be doing a lot of impeachment. They will be doing all that lawfare stuff that they were doing before. They want him in jail. They will be pulling all of that. And also, like, crypto will be under some pretty intense scrutiny, I think, if things escalate, because they're going to say, well, he was using this crypto market to enrich himself in addition to using his powers as president for it. So it's very important that he gets his head out of his butt and realizes just how much is on the line next year. Because if he doesn't get the economy roaring on all cylinders and everybody starts feeling richer, well, then he's definitely going to lose those midterms. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. And I think crypto could be in a lot of trouble too if that happens. I don't think that happens, though. I think that he realizes, oh, yeah, I mean, these people tried to kill me twice. So I do need to get my head out of my butt here and make sure everybody feels a lot richer. That's where I think will be some of the motivation or some of the reasons behind the money printers getting turned on, or him slamming his fists on the desk saying, you will turn these money printers on. There's still a lot more obstacles that would have to be overcome for that. But what else I'm going to be interested in seeing is just how the Supreme Court starts treating him, because I do believe that they rule against his tariffs, and that shows that they're willing to kind of part ways with this is supposedly a conservative Supreme Court that Trump supposedly owns because he appointed half of the people on there. But if they start ruling against him, first with the tariffs, and then second with the Lisa Cook thing, I mean, if they let her stay on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, that is an enormous obstacle to having the vision and the economic agenda that Trump wants. And in that case, we will be kind of doing a constant Hail Mary prayer for a great emergency to happen for there to be any sort of recovery in crypto. Because if we get her off the board, well, then we got nothing to worry about.
Well, I think Richard Hart for president, that's probably the answer. He's American. He should put his name in.
Yeah, well,
Frank White put in Gavin Newsom, and I got to tell you, Frank, if you put Gavin Newsom in our chat one more time, I will put the ban hammer on you, buddy. Don't ever type the words Gavin Newsom in our chat ever again.
Well, got to bring this up here, guys, because you see, something that I'm very frustrated, or I guess you could say uncomfortable with, is the idea that so many people have on, like, we desperately need Richard Hart to be doing X, to be doing Y, to be doing Z for the ecosystem to pump. I mean, he had a recent tweet here where he said, hey, I'm not as powerful as you guys think I am. I appreciate that y'all think I'm so great, but I can't make these things go up here. Just like, how the founder of Ferrari can't make Ferrari go up, or Rolex, they can't make their watches go up in price here. Like there's greater economic forces here and everything. So I'd asked, not just in the spaces last night, but also on my X, that what is your non-RH reason for investing or believing in the RH ecosystem? Because you're going to be tested. You're going to be very tested in your conviction of the RH ecosystem. And you have all throughout this year, you've been tested because this whole year has sucked. I think we're going to have a very volatile year next year, and you're going to be tested in your conviction as well. And don't think that you can like rely on Richard doing anything to stabilize or make the prices go up. Certainly cannot rely on the SAC funds being used to pump the price, because every other coin that has attempted to do that, I mean, even when we attempted to do that, it backfired. So you need to know what it is you hold and why you hold it.
Interesting.
That's a good way to enter next year.
There you go.
Absolutely. Man, if you need the added conviction, I know that Pop and Fast, you had also gave us some reasons, like what's your non-RH reason for believing in the RH ecosystem. But if you need reasons for that, I mean, I could stand here and like filibuster about that all day. Maybe we want to go over that here. Like we want to go around the table and say, what's our non-RH reason for believing in the RH ecosystem?
Pretty much just trust this DeFi is the gist for me.
Yeah, me too. The tech, right? Like it's, you know, like we have good tech on Pulse Chain. We can have more. We can anything that's on Ethereum can be built on Pulse Chain, and it's cheaper and faster. So like, you know, it's a great place for the tech. So I think that standalone, that plus the community, which is kind of RH associated, but like not really. Like he hasn't been around for a couple of years, and the community is still here. So like, yeah, I think the tech and the community are great things for Pulse Chain.
I have said this before. Fast and I build stuff all the time, and we were building stuff when we didn't know if Richard Hart was ever coming back. Yep. So I am completely fine with building on this chain if Richard Hart never made another appearance. I would love to see him be more active like he's been as of late, right? Do streaming and blah, 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 right? But I am not a sack daddy guy waiting for Richard Hart to dump freaking $500,000 into Pulse Chain and watch everything go through the roof. I think that time may come one day, but I don't think it's vital. I don't think it's necessary for our success.
I don't think so either, but I think that time may come sooner than later, just based off of things that I see happening. I think ProveX could be part of that. I have some theories on that, and I think he's, you know, it's all about timing, right? And he understands that. It's all about the greater market as well, which is, you know, maybe a little less bullish according to Cairo, but like, you know, if we had $6,000 Ethereum and ProveX was out, I bet you we would see a lot of transactions coming to Pulse Chain via ProveX. And I think that's why he's building ProveX, is partially to, you know, facilitate himself getting onto Pulse Chain with some, you know, some level of privacy.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing here about Ethereum is like, I think that we're more dependent on like Ethereum doing a thing than we are on Richard doing anything at all. Because you see, if Ethereum goes up, and I think this is a big part of like, you know, why he invested some of the SAC funds in Ethereum here, is that it was believed that Ethereum was going to go up because it just got the ETF and the institutions are interested in it. But if Ethereum goes up, well, then transactions on Ethereum get more expensive, and then people will be looking for alternatives and alternative chains. And that's not necessarily going to lend itself to people looking at Solana, because it's not the same thing, or looking at Sui or some of these other new hot popular chains that everybody is going, oh, I want that. They're going to be like, well, I want to do what I was doing on Ethereum.
Like when the boomers come in, they want DeFi. Like they want stable coins. They want to be able to farm things, all that kind of stuff that like Pulse Chain is made for, that Ethereum is made for. That Solana, like there's very few DeFi projects on Solana compared to meme coins. Like it really is a pump and dump chain. And it breaks down once every month or two.
And
which
they
is
roll
not
it
a problem
back.
that we have.
Well, think about that, buddy. You and I have put together liquidy forks, for example, right? What if I was taking a loan at the time the chain rolled back? What
Could be a mess, yeah.
what would freaking happen there, bud? So I deposited all my SOL and I got all my stable coins, and then they rolled the chain back. And then when the chain rolls back, usually it takes a dive. So when the chain fires back up, maybe I have my SOL back in my wallet. Maybe the stable coins have disappeared, but the SOL that's in my wallet is now worth less than when I took a loan. It's absolutely it's bonkers if you work that through. I've often thought about launching a liquidity fork on Solana, but that part right there, I think is sketchy, and it's not like something that happens every now and then. This is a regular thing. It happens multiple times a year. That happens. Some form of breakdown and a rollback or something like that. I don't trust it.
Exactly. There's no reason to. If you're an Ethereum user, you're far different from a Solana user. So where are you going to go other than something that is a fork, a hard fork of Ethereum that acts a lot like it, or you can do things, the exact same things, because it acts just like it, except it acts better because it actually does what it was advertised to do. And this is my non-RH reason for believing in the RH ecosystem is I don't even have to look that far back. You remember the worst day in crypto this year? I mean, we all kind of like, it's a day that will live in infamy practically.
April Fool's Day?
Not April Fool's Day, close, because that was what they call Liberation Day or Retardation Day, however you look at it. 10/10 was one of the worst days, and that was it was very personal to me because I was on stream the whole time while the 10/10 shakedown was happening, and I'm watching like this whole thing. And at first, I'm trying to like buy some stuff, but like all of the fees everywhere had spiked up, except in one place, Pulse Chain. If you compare the performance of the Ethereum chain, not just the Ethereum price, but the Ethereum, the blockchain, to Pulse Chain, the blockchain, it's a competition that is just like, if you're thinking in terms of like Mortal Kombat, Pulse Chain would have a flawless victory in that competition because Ethereum gas prices spiked up to like $500 per transaction while the price of Ethereum is going down. How in the hell does that happen? Like if its price is down, shouldn't the fees be lower? No, not on Ethereum. Over on Pulse Chain, though, everything was running just as intended. We didn't have any fees get spiked up. It was still 0.15 cents on average per transaction. We didn't have all this congestion that was clogging up the chain. The price performance even of the native L1 token, it got hit, but it didn't get hit that bad. Like Ethereum was down 20%, Pulse Chain only down 4%. So to me, the fact that Pulse Chain not only does everything Ethereum does, but does it better, that is my reason for believing in this ecosystem further into the future, even though I do think the first half of next year sucks. I'm not selling my coins. I'm still going to continue to believe in my coins because when this whole thing turns around, we're going to turn around right with it. I mean, like 2024, I mean, you think of like how good that year was. There was like two specific times that were good about that year, and that was March and April, and then November, December. Those were really good times for no matter what you were invested in, it was going up. And that's how it should be in a bull run. No matter what you're invested in, practically, everything is kind of going up, some more than others. But even us in Pulse Chain, we had some of our best returns in those times back in 2024. I mean, I was really excited. I was like, oh my God, what's this green candle stuff? I don't even remember what this is here because we had just been kind of like getting hot off of the Gensler candles from 2023. So it was great to like, and we still had that SEC FUD out there too, because like the trial wasn't won yet, but we still had, when the entire market was going up, we were going right up with it because a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's why I'm not worried about Pulse Chain. That's why I'm not worried about any of the coins out there. I mean, the only thing I'd be worried about is like if Vitalik never gets his act together, and then that creates a stain on just the word altcoin that will take a very long time to overcome, and will take like a lot of dramatic action to overcome. Because if we get to a point here where like, Ethereum never goes up, that stains all of altcoins. But once those money printers are going, when those money printers are fired off, that's the rising tide. That's going to lift all boats. We got nothing to worry about. And all throughout 2025, matter of fact, the very first interaction I ever did with Pulse Chain publicly, when RH Max put me on the map on his very first Pulse Chain conference, that was the subject of my speech. It was like, hey guys, we're not missing out. Don't worry. The whole market is sucking. The whole economy is sucking. We're not uniquely or fundamentally doomed or damned, or we're not going to miss out on anything because the rising tide lifts all boats. And when you say, well, if that's true, why Pulse Chain then? I mean, you could have literally invested in anything and it's going to go up. Sure. But something's going to go up.
That was my introduction to Cairo, was that conference. That was pretty awesome. Spiel, but I loved it.
Yep. And while everything will go up together, some things are going to go up more than others. And what goes up the most is the thing that has the least amount of liquidity. And I remember like the OA did something about liquidity not too long ago, or at some point this year, right? Earlier in 2025, like the OA, they did something, right? You guys remember what it was?
Reduced ink inflation.
Reduced ink inflation. What else did it do? Particularly with Hex.
Oh, it's staked a bunch.
That's right.
So
that means there's a lot of Hex that was available to buy is now no longer available to buy, because when you stake, you burn those coins, removing them from the market. And this was the thing
that wasn't really like in terms of liquidity. Like the OA wasn't selling that Hex anyway, so I wouldn't say it affected the liquidity situation so much as the staking situation, which reduced the amount of coins that were coming on the market from other stakers that weren't the OA. Does that sound about right, Crispy?
Yeah. It reduced the yield from staking rewards, right, Crispy?
It did. It changed. Yeah. It changed the game.
Didn't we have a problem? Yeah. Didn't we have a problem beforehand where people were taking the rewards from staking? They would restake the principal, but then sell the rewards, selling down the chain and or selling down the asset, wrecking the price chart and reducing the liquidity for it. Wasn't that a problem until like the OA stepped in?
Well, some would tell you it's still a problem, right?
I mean, yeah,
because you still have those first 5 years of stakes that have an awful lot of Hex that haven't ended yet. But I don't know if it's a perfect example, but I look at it like a 15-year cycle, and the first 5 years are done. And the people who believed in the first 5 years got got a huge amount of Hex in terms of rewards. And that's what they got for being true believers or believers at that time. I've been kind of framing it up as people who participated were believers in Hex staking specifically, right? And now what you have is a much more refined group of people that are staking Hex. It's not nearly as many people and not nearly the same extent, but as you're pointing out, the rewards that are coming out are such that it's going to create a supply crunch in the future.
Exactly.
Right? Now, is it going to be 5 years? I don't know. Will it be 4 years? Will it be 7 years? I don't know. I have to watch and see. But you know what we can observe, and this is what I do like about the Hex ecosystem. I mean, of course, I'd like to have higher APY, right? But I understand why. It might be set up this way. Today, those people who are early stakers, if they stake all of their hex, including all of the rewards, they get about the same number of T-shares. About, it varies. Each case is individual, which means they're able to continue to earn. But if they've now turned to non-believers and they sell, well, they get their one shot at a sell in a very illiquid market. They could hold liquid and also be diluted, which some of them do.
Mhm.
But it creates it has nothing to do with price, right? This conversation doesn't really have to do with price, other than the obvious that when people sell, the price goes down and all that. It has to do with who is going to have the most hex. Now, always the big stumbling block is, well, God, if the OA is getting all the hex, that's a concern, but it's a feature, right, of hex, not a negative. And so, even though I can look up the charts and we show them, and people look at them and they see how hex is coming out in the future, they're like, wow, yeah, but look at all this hex that's going to come out, right? It's becoming less and less user hex. And that group of people is more and more refined. And so if you're on team OA and you're thinking the OA is not going to screw over the ecosystem, which of course some people say it already did, right? But that's besides the point, right? But, and not going to dump all that on the market. What you have is a much smaller group of people that are in place to accumulate a much greater percentage of the rewards, player versus player.
Exactly. And like what the only move that the OA can do right now, or like the most impactful move that it could do, would be emergency unstake. Now, if it did that, well, that rewards a lot of the other stakers.
Well,
that would be bad.
On the surface, it would appear that way. I don't think that's one of the strategies, but it's one to consider, right? But who gets all that hex? Half of it would immediately go to the OA.
Rewards.
Yeah, it goes to the, I think 90% of it goes to the OA. Well, half of it to start with goes to the OA, and then 90% of what would get distributed to all users goes to the OA. And so it's a very interesting flywheel, because essentially the OA could be doing emergency end stakes and send hex to itself.
Yeah, but it wouldn't really be in the interest of the OA to do that, because basically it's just going to chop its position, its dominance in half. And like you've watched the history of the OA and like its behavior and everything. I mean, would you say that it has any interest in doing something like that?
I would never say never, because I think it could do that if it was in its best interest to reward the holders of new hex stakes.
Okay.
Right? It would be in the, because what it would be doing is reinforcing that. Now, I have no idea. I have no idea what'll happen. So we have to go based on what we're seeing, and we have all these stakes that are out there with the OA. And in fact, we'll find out in March, right, when the first big one comes out, has the OA's behavior changed?
Okay.
Because
I goad you a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to have this big stake come out, right? Mm-hmm. And it could do a lot of different things, but it could restake for Quattro Cinco.
Mm-hmm.
It could do nothing and maintain its flexibility, its mobility, and start building up its lever in terms of having hex, and just because people will go to count it and just hold it there. So we'll have to watch and see what happens in March to see what happens. But I think what you're onto, which is very strong, is that, and I had gotten a message from Johnny Cass, a shout out to him about this. What we're seeing now is that short-term stakers, they have to extend a lot. That's right. They can't get the same number of T-shares, right? So when I was making that comment before, if somebody's been in for 2,000 days or 3,000 days, that's a whole, I guess we're not 3,000 yet, but if you've been in, 2,222 days, which is about where we are right now, that's one set of users. You do a 7-day stake, you can't get anywhere near the same number of T-shares. You have to go out further, or restake everything, or you have to add more hex. And so we're in a period of time now, I believe, where short-term staking is going to be exceedingly, I don't want to say punished, because it is the use case for hex, but you don't have as much power to just gain short-term hex and sell it on the market. It's going to become less and less of the overall picture.
That's
Are
right.
you getting cold? Are you getting cold fast?
Yeah, my heat went off, so I'm gonna have to solve that problem. But I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's not distracting at all. So just keep dressing like an Eskimo. Yeah.
Are you wearing
We'll
oven
do what we
mitts?
got to do.
He's wearing oven mitts.
Hey, Fast and I
These
were
aren't
talking
oven
about
mitts, man. These are my mitts. They keep me warm.
Fast was talking the other day. We were talking about this the other day on or maybe it was even last night. What do you make of the idea that 75% of the stables that are on the Pulse chain aren't even active right now?
I mean, like
I mean,
they're not in any type
they're
of
not even
protocol.
they're not even an LP, man.
Yeah, they're not in any protocol at all. They're just sitting there.
Just sitting there, right?
That's so weird. Why would you do that?
These were bridged in stables, right?
Yeah, I can think of a few reasons why I would do that.
Okay.
Yep.
You know,
I think
And
they're
one of
waiting. They're waiting to buy.
One of them is waiting to buy for the right time to buy, for the right
Yeah,
time.
but just even doing a stable pair, like something over on a Tide or Fux, right? Would get you some APR on those stables. I don't understand people that just let that stuff sit and marinate.
Well, I think the white elephant in the room maybe is this idea, or pink elephant in the room is the idea that perhaps those are market makers that are waiting for the right time to thicken liquidity and or to buy the assets. You know, and I'm sure it's a collection of different types of people. But
some of them could, in theory, even be Richard Hart. I would theorize that.
I always wonder about Richard Hart having Twitter alts, and which ones are they? Probably.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee he does.
Yeah, that's true
for sure.
And is it a CryFag account?
Yeah. Well, he just posted the other day that he goes into negative tweets and blocks people that like are participating in other people's negative tweets. So he's probably not doing that with his own account. He's probably has some research accounts, we'll call them.
100%. Happy New Year to Smo and SJ. Nice to see you in here. And Ja, if I had known you were in Florida, buddy, when I was out there visiting with Rack, I would have DM'd you, bro, and we would have gone and got some food.
SJ, we're going to be needing a lot more of your positivity, I think, for the next 3 months. The next 3 months are going to be very tough.
Well, between SJ, Smo, and Susie Q, we have our positivity factor handled. I think those three can put a positive spin on most things.
We just need SJ to be a little freer.
I think I have some positive predictions. Like I think personally that ProveX, the token at least, is going to come out very early in January, like probably in the first 2 weeks. And then there could be significant financial action tied to that, which, probably will be on Pulse Chain and probably will be paired with Pulse Chain assets. And that will be extremely bullish, draw some eyeballs. And I think shortly after that, the ProveX app will come out, which will allow for, a lot of funds to move to Pulse Chain. I have a theory that could be incentivized to get people to do it.
You think that quickly it's going to come out?
It could, like, as far as we know, the tech is already built. Like we don't know that it's not. As far as the token coming out, like he's pretty much said that the token will come out before the tech, which it's a $16 million sacrifice set. Like you know, it's kind of like I could probably figure it out with Excel in like 2 days on who gets what. Maybe a crappy 2 days, but it's totally possible. So it won't be like the PulseX sacrifice where it took like 3 months and, you know, 17 engineers to figure out the distribution. It can be super quick, right? And then like the actual protocol, like we know it's a fork. There'll probably be some improvements, but like I suspect there would be a base, like a minimum viable product that would come out, and then improvements and or add-ons for that product could come out later. And like as far as a heavy lift goes, like I looked into it enough, and I'm not a dev, I'm dev adjacent, but like, you know, building ProveX is a heavier lift than building PulseX, heavier lift than Hex in some ways, though not original. So that makes it lighter. But it's not heavier than running a whole chain like Pulse Chain, right? So, and assuming he's got the same devs working on it, like, yeah, 2-3 months, I don't see why they couldn't have it done.
This is somewhat.
What do you think, Triplet?
I think Glockmatics is when we're trying to be positive, he's saying that we shouldn't have even an expectation of being alive tomorrow. That's not cool, bro.
That's kind of positive.
It could be a threat, but
I'm going to tell you guys a story on this, which is kind of was a little scary for me, right? I went to Panama and I caught with a fast, right? We went there to see Randy and did the whole no permissions thing, and I caught a horrific cold, an illness, and it was so bad that they CT'd my chest when I got home, and they found on one of my lungs I had a very tiny nodule on it. And I'm going, oh, that's not good. And a whole bunch of other garbage. But I just went and got another one a week ago, and I got the results, and everything's fine. So it was kind of cool. That was my Christmas present. Everything's fine. Everything in my lungs all cleared up.
That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. Mr. Hexastani, how are you, sir?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
What's up, dude?
Happy New Year.
We're just
What's
reliving
going on? Who's
all
in
the
here?
best moments.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm cooking dinner.
Oh, what you making? What's
I'm
on
making
the menu?
tacos.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes,
Going
sir.
into the new year with tacos there, or ending the old year with tacos, that's a solid thing right there, bud.
Yeah. Got some cake going too. So it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Happy New Year to you too, Hex Glenn. Hex Glenn has given me a Cohiba cigar once.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Nice.
It's good call. Good call. We might want to wrap this up a bit. I think people are starting to go into cooking mode and stuff like that. It is 6:00 on the East Coast.
Dylan first about his either future predictions or recap of the past.
Yeah, that's true, Hexastani. What was your recap of 2025, and what do you see 2026 coming in as?
I'll say 2025 was it was supposed to be the year, guys, like that was the year. But I guess ETH had some other plans, you know what I'm saying? So didn't pan out as expected, I suppose. But I don't know. I think the Fed's getting more dovish. Maybe 2026 has something better in store for us. I'm gonna be a little honest, guys. It's a little bleak right now. I've never really seen the what's it called? The sentiment this pretty fucking bad, honestly. Like
How can
it's
it be
pretty
this bad, and we still have like a 90K Bitcoin though, right? Like,
I know,
it wouldn't
right?
have been
It's
that long
crazy.
ago that we were celebrating that.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, precious metals are doing some funky shit. Maybe that's telling of, the belief in the dollar is kind of going down, which you would think that would translate into crypto. But I think retail is just really fucking broke right now, guys. Like just in general.
Yeah, like people got to have incomes and enough disposable income to even think about investing to even get to our coins here. But also with those precious metals, a lot of the buying that's pushing those up isn't even from like American investors or Canadian investors or like retail investors. It's all those foreign central banks that are buying it up because when Biden was president, when the Ukraine-Russia war broke out, we confiscated Russian money in American banks and American treasuries. So we basically told the world, hey, if you got money in U.S. treasuries or if you got money in U.S. banks, that money's not yours. And so now people are they are leaving the treasuries and going into gold in particular. Silver appears to be correcting along with many of the other precious metals like palladium and platinum and everything because those are industrial metals. We would not be able to function as an economy if those things stayed at the current prices that they're at. But I do think gold goes higher because a lot of people are thinking, well, let's use gold as like the kind of your investment portfolio needs a gas pedal and a brake pedal. Typically, stocks have been the gas pedal and bonds have been the brake pedal. But now people are thinking, well, since treasuries are not that great anymore, or we don't want treasuries and bonds are not inversely correlated with stocks, people are using gold as a replacement for that. And I think that that's actually kind of brilliant to be doing that because it is somewhat inversely correlated to risk on assets. Just look at how gold's going up now while the most risk on asset crypto has been going down.
Yeah. And I think also a good portion of it was just the AI boom. Right? It just kind of stole the heat a little bit from crypto. It's like, why are you in Bitcoin if your returns, year to date are weren't they almost negative or some shit? And you got, NVIDIA and AMD and all those guys just outperformed this year and last year and so on and so forth. It's pretty wild, man. Wild times.
They're so heavily in profit too. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
The money.
And you don't have to worry about fucking liquidity over there either, like trillions of dollars traded all the time.
Yeah, not just that, but also that passive bid that reinforces it because everybody's an index fund investor. So as these things get bigger, they feed on themselves and get bigger and bigger.
Yep, exactly. Couldn't agree more.
Fast Abdul's investing in Sorrels.
Yeah, Sorrels.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. What's that?
These things, they last forever. This is like a 10-year-old pair of Sorrels. Keep your feet warm and dry.
Oh, boots. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, those are cool. Yeah, look like snow boots, man.
Nice. I think you would die if you wore these where you live, Dylan. It wouldn't work out.
Yeah, I'm. It's like 60 degrees over here. It's not that bad, but I'm inside with a fucking a hoodie and a sweatshirt on. So
a hoodie and a sweatshirt.
Over a stove, like fuck. My skinny ass does not do good in the cold.
Yeah, my blood thinned out too. I can't handle anything below like 50 anymore.
Yeah. I'm good. Florida boy, Too cold for me, man. But 2026. So I think we'll, let's see how ProveX does. Let's see if that turns the ship around. If not, I don't know what's gonna happen. If I just don't know. Hard to see. It's hard to see the plan here.
Going to come out right away, like in January.
Probably. I don't know, but my guess probably late January, early Feb, maybe. I have no idea though. So don't hold me to it. But I don't know.
Buck's pool did really well. That was awesome.
Yeah, it did. Thank you. Yes, we did. We did really good, and everybody that joined should be really happy. So yeah, I'm glad that I hope Richard appreciates that a little bit.
And that pool is closed now, right? Like people should not send money.
Yeah, don't send money. We will take our Dev said they will take their sweet time sending it back to you. So don't send them nothing.
Exactly.
So
Cairo,
I don't even think you should stack direct, honestly.
You jumping in here with all your knowledge and everything, man. I don't know if I'm following you on Twitter. What's your X account, Cairo?
At BB
underscore tripping. You know, like bitches be tripping. So that's me.
Same thing
Oh
on
no,
my.
that's Dylan. I'm talking to Cairo.
I'm sorry.
following you already,
Okay, yeah, my bad.
When the hot girl at the bar was like, "Oh, I wasn't really talking to you. I was here for your friend." Yeah. You had a really
Okay,
cute
whatever.
friend with you. It's the same thing that you see in the corner there, just at reinvent ideal.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll give you like my positives because I think I've been like pretty dark this whole hour here. So I'll give you some positives.
You don't say. You don't say.
Yeah. give you some positives before I head out. So like, as the year turns around, we got a couple of things that we can kind of like hang our hats on for positives. And that's this here. First, looking at this year, particularly the past like 2-3 weeks, notice how like Bitcoin, it goes up and then it goes down by the exact same amount it went up. At almost the exact same time every single day. 9:30 when the US markets open up. Anybody got a theory on like why that happens? Anybody know like what's causing that? Because there is a very rational explanation behind it.
I've seen a lot of traditional stocks be doing that, like right at open.
Exactly. See, it opens at 9:30, the traditional markets. That includes hedge funds. And what the hedge funds are doing is what's called basis trades, which means they buy a little bit of the Bitcoin ETF and then they short the Bitcoin futures. And that kind of creates like an interest earning, a basis trade that they would typically do on things like treasuries or a particularly stable stock. They have been doing that with Bitcoin just about all this year because when I pull up the Bloomberg terminal here and I look at the IBIT ETF, the majority of the money that has flowed into it this year has been from 5 hedge funds in particular. So that means there was no retail this entire year. There was no bull market this year. Last time it felt like a bull market for me was back in December of 2024. It's basically sucked all year for me. You see, I'm not just an RH guy. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything, and I can tell you just about everything out there has sucked. And that's because that's because people don't have the money to go buy our coins. But then too, the only people that are investing in the crypto space at all are institutions and hedge funds. And that's the only reason Bitcoin made a new high in October. On October the 6th, that was all hedge funds. You can see it on Bloomberg. It shows you that the 5 hedge funds were buying up the IBIT ETF, and that's what pushed the price up to 126,000. So we have not had the traditional bull market year that follows year after the halving in overall in crypto. So we're still waiting for that year to occur. That's positive in my view because there was no FOMO inspired at the last minute that caused like those big parabolic runs towards the end. And you see, when you have like those big parabolic runs, those are actually what cause the year-long bear market because we have everybody pile in at the last minute as time goes on, and those like the people that are in profit start selling. Those people that piled in at the last minute are not in profit, and they start capitulating and selling, and that takes a whole year to wash those people out. So if we didn't have that parabolic run, we're not going to have a year-long bear market. The other thing that I think is going to be positive for us is that I do think inflation goes below 2% in January. That takes it takes away a lot of justification from the Fed to be hawkish, even though 4 of the governors on the board of governors want to be hawkish, and probably 7 people on the FOMC still want to be hawkish. They're not going to have much justification for doing it, particularly if the job market deteriorates. So they're going to have to do more rate cuts than what they have in the forward guidance. And the money printer, it's going right now. It's not going by much. I see it increasing kind of like a staircase, a little bit more each month. Next thing is stable coins, I think, are going to be like the thing that saves crypto because now that we have clarity on stable coins, now that we have like the Genius Act, And a lot of the provisions of the Genius Act haven't even gone into force yet. They go into force at the turn of the year. Because we have that, a lot of like the I guess you can call them Lupin proletariat, if you use Marxist language. The everyday people, the working class in other foreign countries, particularly the global south, they would much rather hold stable coins than their local currency, and they will do that. I mean, they would much rather hold US dollars, but their local governments don't allow them to. It's very hard for their local governments, though, to do money censorship on stable coins and blockchain technology. Like, oh my gosh, people are actually using crypto for what it was invented for. Well, gee, it only took us like, what, 12 years? So that's happening as well. Stable coins, when their market caps go, when a lot more stable coins exist, then what happens is a lot of those stable coins are going to get deployed somewhere, or they're going to get used somewhere. They'll get locked into some DeFi protocols or put into some liquidity pools, and so the rising tide that lifts all boats. And last thing I'd say for like the bullish thing or the positive things to be happy about or to look forward to is the fact that the Treasury continues to use short-term T-bills to fund the U.S. government. I explained this on one of my streams before, that if you keep producing T-bills and you don't produce any long-term bonds, that creates a lot of pressure in money markets and repo markets, and that's going to force the Federal Reserve to print more money whether they want to or not. Going back to the whole theory that money printing is what makes crypto go up, there'd be a ton of money printing next year because so much debt of the U.S. Government's national debt is going to need to be refinanced next year. If they refinance it all with T-bills, a lot of money is going to need to be printed to do that. But last thing I'd say, though, is always bear in mind what the market loves to do is what makes the most amount of people look stupid, because that's certainly what it did in 2025.
True.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
Do you work for a fund or something, or do you pay for a Bloomberg terminal privately?
I used to work in DeFi, or not DeFi. I used to work in TradFi.
Okay, so you still pay for your own Bloomberg terminal because you said you had one.
Yep, still do it.
Wow,
because it's
nice.
100% worth it.
Okay, wow, nice. Okay, yeah. Which your Twitter is on screen, right?
Yeah, reinvent ideal.
Okay, I'll follow you.
I was following you. It's just like the algorithm does not show me your stuff.
No.
So I'll start interacting, and you'll pop
Shadow
up.
banned. Shadow banning Cairo. What's up with that?
What is up with that?
Not cool. How about you, Crispy Man? A positive thought from you. We'll go around the horn and then we'll call it good, so everybody can go have some hors d'oeuvres and champagne and whatever you guys have.
The community's strong. How about that?
I agree, buddy. I agree.
I think that's where it starts, and I think we things will turn. They always do, and the communities needs to come together a little bit better. But that is what it is. I mean, pretty strong as it is. I mean, mostly, except for streams like this, the only people you see are the negative ones, right? And so there is a great silent majority.
Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. How about you, Mr. Wu?
Community's huge, because like just looking at 2025, my chart socially has is probably an inverse of what the PLS chart looks like. So the community it's more powerful than like people give it credit to. Like what we can do together, just like 12 dudes can like accomplish a lot when it comes to whatever it is, as long as everyone's on the same page. And so like and also I know of a few like big hex whales who are still like massive bulls, and they don't want to be doxxed, they don't want to be known. So there are a lot of big powerful people as well who are bulls and believe in hex, and nobody's ever going to know of them. But yeah,
agree with that. How about you, Fast?
I think the party's just getting started for Pulse Chain right now, and I think 2026 could be our year. Not financial advice. I have no crystal ball, but like some things are lining up. Like we have some dates on the calendar. We have some moves that Richard's making. We have Richard being extremely active compared to the previous like 2 years of complete silence. I think we're going to get it all back at once. I think we're going to get Richard doing daily 6-hour streams and all the things people want him to do happening in a very short timeline all at once. And it's just going to overwhelm like the internet, and it will be huge. And I feel like that time is coming soon. It could be in the next 2 months. So I'm going to hold faith myself. Everybody else can make their own choice.
I agree with you, buddy. I hoping that is the case. My only thing is time in the market, right? Everybody, it's very basic. If you've been holding while things are down, selling while it's down is not a good idea, in my opinion. Time in the market, right? We have Warren Buffett that's just freaking calling it quits with Berkshire Hathaway, right? What did that thing go from, Cairo? You probably know off the top of your head. Was it like $79 to $750,000 a share over the course of time? That's time in the market. It's freaking unbelievable.
Huge.
Yeah, massive. So I'm sticking around. I'm keeping my course, and still continuing to build for the future. 100%.
And he only makes moves like once every year or a couple years.
Very yeah. He's not a freaking
True.
actor. He buys something to hold it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to play like an advisory role, a senior board member kind of thing where he's kind of still there. Cause like, I feel like you can't stop, like when you're in the markets, it's like one of those things where you just always are, I wonder if he's going to do something like that and then let somebody else kind of run it, but he's still going to be like his eye on it or whatever. I don't know.
He's such a crazy. The guy is crazy, right? When I watch the expose on him and they put just enough money for a McDonald's breakfast in his Bentleys, and he goes through and gets McMuffins every morning, it just kills me. That guy is a nut.
Well, that's why Trump goes to McDonald's too, because they're like so commercial that nobody's going to be messing with the food.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, you guys. Well, we've had 1,180 folks come in and out or still watching whatever they're doing, but we've had 1,180 eyeballs on this. Actually, that would be more.
That shows that people are not really paying attention right now.
It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Appreciate all of you guys for coming on stream. On the last day of 2025. Appreciate you guys a ton and hope to have you on in 2026. And we're talking about more positive things, Cairo.
Here's to a more positive new year.
Yeah. Now we can actively just try and break all of Cairo's bearishness.
Yeah.
It's only bearishness for the first half. I do think that once we get through the next 6 months, well, then it could be up only from there, unless Vitalik messes everything up.
Yeah, we'll get him in a room. We'll work him over and make sure that.
Yeah, we'll work him over.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have Richard Hart on this show in 2026. That is my prediction for the future.
Nice.
I can ask him.
I like that prediction
for my bad meme.
And everybody that's watching this, everybody that's been active in chat, Susie Q, Hex Glenn, Bright Light, all those guys, thank you very much for watching Pulse Chain Times over the last year. It's been kind of a work in progress, and we really appreciate you big time. Thank you very much.
Triplet, real quick, Darth wanted me to pull up his chart at the end of this.
All right, pull it up then.
Okay. So Darth was on the stream earlier. He has a staking protocol that he's built with a quant that is unnamed because they don't want to be doxed. And his token is called Your Mom, and he just launched a sorry, hold on. He just launched another token, and it's called DTGC. So he just wanted to highlight that he couldn't stay on the stream.
There we go.
There we go.
Very nice.
So that's DTGC. It's just a week old. Okay, let's
get a little chill in the mix. Hope that goes well for you in 2026, Dark.
Yeah, hope it goes well, dude.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. All right, with that, you guys, I'm going to take us out on some Welcome to Crypto. I think that's an old school, and we'll get those vibes going and see what we see in 2026. Thank you, everybody.
Good to meet you guys.
Pleasure streaming with y'all. Have a good New Year.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Happy New Year's, gentlemen.
Happy
2027. All right.
It's Bass God on the track.
Welcome to crypto. We out here getting figures. Stop gambling and trading stocks. They're financial killers. But see, with every upside there's a slide. An embodiment of crypto is Hex. We got a winner. My name is Corey, an investor, and I'm winning. A Hexagon for life. I just retired, now I'm chilling. But see, I took an early L. Friends thought I couldn't tell if Hex was some magic money, and I was under a spell. But I exhale, cause my research, it didn't fail. I invested in Hex, then became a whale. I'm making waves now. I tell you there's a way how to stake it, then forget it, and chill in Dubai or Cape Town. But after the highs, there's always a drought. And that's when the scammers, the FUD, and the wolves are out. I'm trying to educate just to mentally stimulate people who felt like me, like I'm always missing my break. That's why I wait, man, I sit back, observe the bait. A piece of cake when the finished product's on the plate. So don't wait, go to hex.com, mate. Cause Hexagons rep from the US to the Aussie state. Which means we down under, I mean we underground. I see you haven't heard of us, millionaires all around. You heard of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blockchain though? Well, Hex is simply better code, Crypto 2.0. Welcome to crypto, we out here making figures. Stop gambling and trading stocks, they're financial killers. But see, with every upside there's a slide. An embodiment of crypto is Hex, we got a winner. So, back to the story, investors, they see the glory within Hex. Through a DEX is verified, we don't need a Maury, which means no middleman. No man to tell a story, stories told. It's on the blockchain, just a few years old. But this about the money, and money rules the world in politics. And if it's in the wrong hands, your baby girl, we're here to make a change. My mind's on future gains, we change the conversation, but the money made is insane. Are you a Hexagon or not? Does Hex always make new highs? The truth. Where all the haters at, shaking in they boots, while we show up to these conferences in $10,000 suits. That's something like, we ain't talking about the drinks of flight. Hexagon shine like you stargazing to the night. That's something light. Hexagon shine like you stargazing to the night. Welcome to crypto, we out here getting figures. Stop gambling and trading stocks, they're financial killers. But see, with every upside there's a slide. An embodiment of crypto is Hex, we got a winner.